seen it.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Shannon Roberta Salmon Haas, also known as Shannon Roberta San Antonio. Find her on Instagram. She'll give her encouraging word in just a moment. We're here with Judge Mary Lou Alvarez, 45th
District Court
here in San Antonio, Texas.
But it's a countywide election. I don't want people to get tied up in like, I don't know if I'm just in that number. It's a countywide election, yes.
Because some of the city stuff I'm not allowed to vote in because I live on the other side of the city limits. I'm still in Bexar County, and so I can't vote for the mayor. But I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've been talking about divorce and child custody. Soon we'll talk about parental alienation, which I just learned is a charged word. But first, let's talk about legacy.
And now, it's time for the Talk Law Radio Legacy Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
So Marquardt Law Firm sponsors the show, and attorneys at Marquardt Law Firm focus on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy. And so I want to give you an opportunity to talk about what you want your legacy to be, whether it's your favorite family heirloom, something you learned from those who have passed on before you, or something else that you want people to know about.
So I think my legacy, what I'm working for every day and what I'm hopefully demonstrating to my children is just a legacy of service, right? I think we have a responsibility to each other. I think people of faith have a responsibility, a moral obligation to their beliefs to serve our fellow humans every day, all the time. And so I'm hoping that I'm demonstrating and I leave to my children that commitment to service to make our communities better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Even if they don't do it themselves, they'll say, Mom did that.
Or Mom did that, so I'm going to do this, right? Like I'm not saying that they have to be a public servant as their vocation. But I do think that they will always and should always, and I hope they always are serving their communities in some way, whether that's in financial giving, right? Time, talent, treasure. Right. Ideally, you'd be giving everything. Time, talent, treasure.
Right.
But I hope I'm demonstrating that they will be giving to their communities.
Yeah, that's great. My dad served in the New Mexico House of Representatives. Oh, wow. And there came a time when I learned how awful politics were.
Yeah.
And people said things about my dad that I didn't think were true, that I didn't want to be on the news or...
Right.
You know, the political ads on TV, we would get these things in the mail, that said awful things about him.
Yeah.
And, it really broke my heart at that time.
That
and so
would.
being a public servant, you sort of have to have thick skin.
You do. You do, and you have to have safe spaces and good friends where, the times that your skin needs to take a break, you have a shoulder to lean on, a person to rely on. And I think for the families of our public officials, we've got to be mindful of them too. Like I think my first re-election, it was a nasty campaign, both for the primary and the general. And I'm expecting the same this time around because, people are who they are. And I remember part of the hardest things was watching my children watch the people talk about me in real time.
Right.
So we've got to be mindful of that, and I do my best to protect my children and make sure that they understand it's It's part of the process, but we still have responsibilities to do. And I feel like this is my responsibility to my community.
Yeah, I think this is a great segue to parental alienation. So
We can call it high conflict. If we want to call it something different, we can say,
well, I want to know first, why is that charged?
yeah.
So before I took the bench, I was an advocate, and primarily the majority of my career was advocating for victims of domestic violence. In divorce, custody, child welfare litigation, protective order litigation. And I've educated myself and continue to educate myself in the dynamics of domestic violence for going on now almost 25 years. When parental alienation first became a term that got started using it, inevitably it was in the context of violent situations. Right, so it would be a person who had used violence in their relationship, either in their marriage or in their romantic relationship, who had lost control of the person they were victimizing because there was a separation. Mm-hmm. And so now they wanted to disregard all of the bad action of the past and just say, well, my kids don't like me because of her. Mm-hmm. And that, 9 times out of 10, it's a male alleging parental alienation against the female. And that term invited not just the advocates, but invited the fact finder to just kind of latch onto that term without revealing and putting the term aside and going to the context. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think that is the most important part of sitting in judgment in family matters, is to understand the context. Right? And the goal is first and foremost safety, and then healing, and then relationship and connection. And so when we use that term, that loaded term, that it's supposed to stand for something, I think we invite laziness into not evaluating the context of the situation, right? So if the children are not wanting to visit one parent or the other, why? Mm-hmm. And I think most times the answer to the why will reveal that there is responsibility for the situation on the shoulders of both parents, right? Because you can't have someone who committed violence in the relationship come and say, well, I don't know why my 13-year-old son doesn't want to visit me. And not talk about, well, maybe he doesn't want to visit you because he saw you strangle his mother to the point that she passed out right in front of him. Mm-hmm. And that was only 15 months ago, right? So you can't come in a year and a half later and saying, I don't know why my son doesn't want to visit me. It's because his mom told him something. Right. Well, no. Or yes, maybe both are true. But you can't solve the problem by not taking account for all of the context that leads you to that situation. Right.
I did think of a redemption story.
Oh, good.
I was representing one parent in a child custody dispute. It was really a visitation dispute. And the party I represented was concerned that the other party was a drug addict. And so if our children are going to visit you and you're, high or whatever, that puts her at danger. And so I had this friend that was a private investigator. And so I had hired him to watch this other parent.
Okay.
Find out what's going on. And he did a great job, took pictures, saw all the wrongdoing being done. And so I got to have a hearing in front of a judge. And I said, this other person is, always on drugs. And I can bring in evidence to show that. And the judge told that other party, go take a drug test right now, 4th room on the left or whatever. And that person left the courthouse, never to be heard from again.
Wow.
And so I got to be friends on Facebook with my client, and so I could see the child develop, graduate from high school, graduate from college. Even though I don't do that law anymore, it
Yeah.
was one of the most satisfying cases I had
Right.
because I got to see real progress.
Yeah.
Sorry I have to stop you guys right there.
Thank
Shannon,
you. Good story. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you for sharing.
yeah, I just had to get it out because I wanted there to be another redemption story.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I want you to tell us an encouraging thing. What are you doing on Instagram and how can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Shannon
Roberta
Roberta.
San Antonio.
There's a thing we do here in San Antonio where the minute it cools off 5 degrees, we just do everything all at once. So all the organizations I care about are having their galas right now. So Blue House, Magic Theater, Through Project, of course, and also CAM, Christian Assistance Ministry. And so I'll put it on the comment maybe on the YouTube video,
Okay,
all the dates.
great.
And so those are just wonderful places to invest your time and your energy.
The
And-
Rape Crisis Center is having theirs too.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So if people feel like getting dressed up or not, they're all different levels of formal, and it's really going to a great
Yeah, let
cause.
Shannon know when and where that is, and we'll add that to our list.
Yes, please. And just be kind. And public servants are people, and a lot of them take pay cuts to be public servants. And
And they take some abuse, too.
yes, a lot.
Okay, well, thank you for that encouraging word. Judge, thank you for joining us on Talk Law Radio.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.
Thank
This is
you.
really great. Thank you.
So I want to talk about another issue that's within the same realm of the law.
Okay.
Well, if a child's parents die, then they could end up in foster care,
True.
right?
Yes.
And so one thing parents can do to prevent that from happening is naming a guardian in their will. And so everybody that has children should definitely do that. And some attorneys forget that there are some catastrophic illnesses or accidents where a parent could survive but still not be able to take care of their child. So there's another document that you can sign to name a guardian in case you end up in that situation, because the will is only useful if you die.
Right.
And so you need to be able to name a guardian to take care of the kids if you become incapacitated or disabled as well. And so call an attorney. This show is sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm. Shannon, what else should we know?
Be kind.
Judge?
Just know your children are always watching you, right? And so give them the best examples you can. Nobody's perfect, but just do your best.
Yeah, my dad would say something similar. Someone is always watching you.
Yes.
Stay tuned for the next episode of Talk Law Radio. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.